So while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and come into the moment here together. We enter this sacred space in reverence, presence, and love. We ask for the angels and the archangels, for all of the guides, for each of us, and for the optimal for this moment to connect to the hearts of those that are ready for this information, that we may gather together in light and love and spread this from one being to another. Ooh. I forget to do that. There we go. They don't need to hear me twice. Okay, good. So we're live now. Hi, everybody over there on YouTube. Hi, Destine. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for allowing the technology a minute or two to adjust itself, as it seems to happen these days. And I've just gotten like humored by technology at this point. I've got 18 different things just doing something from another reality. So, all right, good. So thank you everybody for joining us today on the Infinite Show. I'm really excited because you've seen her on my show before. However, Joan of Angels and I are becoming very good friends, and there's a lot of fun. And with the sacred feminine rising and all the wisdom happening in this evolution of our soul, it's a super exciting time to have these partnerships, right? To come together and to share energies, because then it's even more powerful. So today we're going to play, and I'm going to quick share my screen and tell you all about Miss Joan. And I think that, wow, I think it's like 4 years now, isn't it? Maybe since we connected first. I remember it was right around the time that the pandemic started, and I was sick. My partner had had a seizure 6 months before and was living in a dark room. And I was really having a health crisis, a spiritual crisis as well. And Spirit kept telling me, put on a summit, put on a summit. I'm like, and I remember it just taking this ridiculous amount of time. I don't know what it was, month, 2 months, but I kept like, I would reach out and look around, and I just started intuitively looking around, and that's when I found Miss Joan. So welcome if you're new here, Akasha here, and you can join me over at nanakasha.com, and you can subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications or something. Okay, what's going on here? And so that way you know when we go live. So we have already done this week, what, new moon, happy new moon, everybody. We did a new moon meditation and a spiritual weather report. And I guess I've done my Spirit Sacred Circle and 2 classes with the Intuition Awakening people. So it's been a busy week. There's a lot of really beautiful energy. So it's a great time for us to be meeting with our beautiful Joan. So we're going to be talking about this incredible art she does, and how it's encoded with frequencies. And then what is so wonderful is when you can use different tools and mediums to bring messages from your soul, or to reveal who you are to yourself. So we're going to talk about that, and who knows what else, super fun stuff. So, oh, she did this again. This is probably your old one. Is this your old one?
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
Joan Angels, because it leads with Dr. Joan Handgarden. That is an old one, but it's okay.
Okay. I know you sent us a new one, but she didn't put it. So spiritual advisor, intuitive channel, an oracle of the ancients, and brings messages of wisdom and guidance, and been assisting people from all over the world for healing and angel wing fluffing. I love that. And uplifting so many people through readings, healings, activations, and her art, which is really fun because we know that symbols, color, we just had a class today on color as a messenger, as a healer. And these things have a deep, profound effect on our psyche and our body and our minds and how we create a reality. So her work allows the leader within you to emerge. And she started out in 2013, guided to pay 33 angels in 30 days and launching herself. So we'll just move to the present moment now. And hi, sweetie, thank you for being here.
Well, I just wanted to know I'm in my Greek mode.
Yeah.
Right now. And I'm very happy to be with you in your studio. And I just always love it when we connect, Nan. It is a sacred moment.
Wonderful. So look at you, all beautiful here. And so we've just kind of, whoop, I love how spirit you go for a while. What's next? What's next? And you get ideas and then, well, not quite in this. And then it's like, bam, 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 boom, go. So if you're interested in going to Greece, that's going to be happening in the beginning of October. So reach out or take a look at the website, whatever you want to do. And in the meantime, Joan is in London right now, right?
I am in London, but I want everyone to know that I too will be in Greece with you
Yeah.
in case you want to know more or love the art or whatever, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're getting ready to go to Egypt, right? And you've
I'm
just
going to
come from
Egypt.
Glastonbury.
I'm on a
So
world tour, Nan.
yeah. So what I love
Activating
about what you're
people.
doing, yeah, is going out and actually following your spirit. So tell us about it.
It's crazy. Okay, so a year ago, my dear friend Neil, who I had started working with from Portal to Ascension, called and said, look, Joan, I know you're stuck. I was stuck in the desert. I lived in the desert for 7 years because I was told I needed to learn to connect. And then I got stuck there. And he came along and then he calls me one day. He says, well, I have an idea that could get you out of the desert. And he suggested that now that we're working together, that we travel together. So we went up to Mount Shasta first for 3 months. And that's where, and I had put my art away. All my art went into storage and I had stopped painting for a while. And suddenly I'm in Mount Shasta with a group of people and they're seeing all these beings and I'm just taking photos, right? And I go home and I take these photos and before I know it, I see energy beings in these images that were, that you couldn't see with your eyes and in the rocks. And so that was a year ago. And that really started me going into digital art. And I started creating new art that's interdimensional, interportals, and very, very exciting. But anyway, my journey started in Mount Shasta, but then I came to Europe in May and have traveled a bit around Europe, spent a month in Portugal. It's so exciting. I don't even know if I really want to return to the States, but I guess I have to. But the Glastonbury conference was really dear to my heart because I love Glastonbury. I was initiated on One Realm in Glastonbury many years ago. So taking a group of people and activating them in Glastonbury was exciting. And then next month, I get to take 2 tours, 2 groups of people to Egypt. We do the same tour twice. And, I don't know if you have kids or not, but when my kids watched a movie, then they had to watch it 10 times to grok it.
Yeah.
I think when you go through Egypt, these tours, I get to do it a second time and anchor it into my consciousness and remember my life as Hathor, as the mother of many of the pharaohs, as Cleopatra. I have many memories that I actually have of Egypt. And then, guys, what happened was I was planning a trip to Greece and I mentioned it to Nan. All I did was really mention it and told her that I was recovering my memories as the Oracle of Delphi. And before you know it, she created this most fantastic trip around my trip. See how I do that? So now she's created a fantastic trip that I'm going on. I'm very excited because you're such a great shaman. And she found the cave of the oracles of Delphi. And I'm just very, very excited about that, folks.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So if you want to come, it's on the shop.nanakasha.com. And if you're on my list, we're sending things out and you could reach out to Joan or I anywhere you want to on Facebook. So we're going to create magic. And what I love is, like you said, like, I love travel. That's just my nature. I like movement. I grew up overseas. I've lived in different countries and I've been to Egypt several times and Greece was my first past life memory and all this stuff, right? So there's a lot going on. And this is my favorite thing to do, is to combine the spiritual work and the energy work with going to the sacred sites, going to places where you're really activating the stones and you're connecting with them in a whole new way. And I truly believe what I've seen over time is everyone who goes on one of these retreats isn't just receiving, right? We go thinking, oh, I'm going to get a download. I'm going to get a healing. I'm going to get a past life memory. I'm going to receive some key codes from the stones, whatever, however you think. Yes, but you're also bringing stuff, right? You're
Yes.
bringing key codes to it. So Joan's been doing this all around the world.
It's been very exciting. And, I want to say about So the people who were coming on our Egypt trip, I know that they were part of my tribe and part of my Atlantis lifetimes, and we were a soul community then. So I really want to say that anyone who comes on this trip will be probably be one of the oracles that we worked with in other lifetimes.
Yeah, yeah, or definitely other aspects of different mystery schools and things like that that we've done. And the Greek have had all these different cultures. Egyptian had such a wide impact compared to, it wasn't just
Right,
within their
right.
reality. But what's beautiful is that each of these places holds a particular frequency. So by the time I see you, you're going to be like,
Right.
oh, it's like
Well, right, because I would have been
levitating.
in Egypt.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed, Anne, that all I sort of started to tell you was about my trip to Greece to recover my own memories, because I've had a lot of past life memories there. But to see it in person and experience it, and before I know it, it triggered you to create this adventure. And
Yeah.
I really want to honor you for that. Like, you're one of the most exciting women I know.
Oh.
Just to-
Yay. Well, thank you. I love to play. Well, it's so funny because it's the place I've wanted to go since Chris's seizure. I've been just staying close to home and, he's coming out of that and things, and we've done retreats around here and all of that. So it's always on the list. And when we first started talking about retreats in February or something of this year, it was
right,
one of the two other things came forward that I didn't mention because I was like, just slow down, take one thing at a time. But it was
right.
Greece and something Celtic. I don't,
Oh,
whether
yeah.
that's Ireland or
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
Those two things came up, and I kept saying, just telling myself, just put it on the side. We'll talk about it later. Stay focused on what we were talking about and everything. So, but yeah, it was, and it was really interesting the healing that happened from this because it wasn't that it was bad. I love my life. I love staying home. I love being on the beach every day. I love being with Chris and doing what I do. And that's the beauty of the internet, right? We can reach people all around the world without going anywhere. And yet that's really part of my soul. And several things have been coming for all year about, and this is true for everybody, that it's time to take a new path, to do something different, to just shift what you're doing. It doesn't have to be do some completely different thing, but it's like how you're doing it, where you're doing it, what's calling you next, because the energies are raising so fast for us. So, well, tell us about your art and about the idea of how, because you go to all these places, you get to be with all these incredible people, going to the sacred sites. And I know that that's my number one way of doing this work or growing or learning or whatever, is to be there. And now you have this network, right? And you really not changed, that's not the right word, you've expanded or blossomed. It's like the stem or the strength within you coming up is become more stable, right? And more connected with who you really are, and that's moving through you. And whenever you talk about your art, it's like all of the blood in your body, your meridians, everything, right? All the energy just starts going really quickly. Like,
Well, I love this art. This art comes through me like I'm going to Egypt. So I went, and Neil says to me, Joan, create some Egypt images. And I went, okay. And I start channeling it. And before you know it, I'm creating Egyptian images. Then I have to say the art is coming through because of the encouragement of several of my intuitive psychic friends. You know how we help each other. And they really encouraged me with the art. They said, oh, Joan, you're going to be renowned for the art. And I was very shy about this until my friend Tamara really encouraged me and a few other people. And so one of the things that came through is that I do these soul essence or cosmic essence readings for people. And in it, I help you remember who you are and why you're here. And it's a powerful reading, but it's so filled with stuff that then people get all excited. Oh, yes, I'm the angel of light, or I'm the angel of manifestation, whatever comes through. But then they go back to their three-dimensional life. And all the things that we worked on in that session, they're just on the side here because they go back to their normal life. And then they go through their doubts. Oh, was I really that powerful being, that powerful goddess from Atlantis or high priestess, or really, because they're stuck in the mire of their three-dimensional life. And one woman I worked with said, well, Joan, why don't you do portraits that will express who people are? So that began a real deep dive. I began it, I think I first launched it February of last year. And I started practicing on people. Honestly, I always practice on my friends first. I even learned to do readings on my friends years ago, but I started practicing it, and the art, and then I realized that all this information was coming through to channel about what the art brought up. And then once the art is in people's home, what happens is that it raises the frequency of the home. So say I'm looking like this in a Greek goddess, but I'm in a bad mood or I feel low self-worth. If I turn around and I see that goddess on the wall there, number one, that these paintings actually will talk and channel to you. Number two, they raise the vibratory frequency around you. And number three, they actually remind you when you forget how powerful you really are, because every piece I've created for people totally resonates with their soul. It may not look exactly like them, but it looks very similar, but it gives that essence of their highest self and their highest potential and their highest gifts. And so it creates an energy of manifestation, of being able to step into who you are and actually actualize this mission or this purpose or this sense of being. Yeah. So it's a really creative process. Occasionally, like a woman reached out to me a few months ago to have the soul essence portrait, but she wasn't ready. She just wasn't ready. She was in a frazzled state of mind and chaotic, and she agreed she wasn't ready. So we went through it, and because when I tuned in, I couldn't access that energy of who she really was. And so she started working with me. We've been working together for a couple of months now. And now the art is just coming through. So I told her after our last session, woohoo! And I started creating art this week that I'll kind of refine next week for her. But very exciting. So it's not an automatic given. It's a real process of cosmic activations, waking up to who you are. And then I can capture that essence of who you are into a canvas that reflects it back to you 24/7.
Yeah. Well, and I love it because the any kind of digital photograph, any kind of image or symbol, right, has a frequency, and it emanates it, it radiates it. So between what you do to read the soul, to communicate with it, to connect with it, to realign it, it has a healing effect, right? It has a realignment effect for starters, because you're like a portal, is you bringing through who they really are. You're seeing them in a way they can't see themselves. And like you said, those higher aspects of them, but then they're in that, right? So like you said, it's coming through. And I can even imagine somebody like having a copy of a picture of it on their phone and just looking at it during the day if they need that realignment or that boost or that connection.
Yes, because this 3D realm is really hard to kind of remember who you are. But I had a great time last weekend in Glastonbury. I had my art on display. These weren't the soul essence portraits, but you'll see some of the art that I show and sell. But I had people coming up to me, and I would muscle test them, and they'd be very, very low energy. And then I'd give them a piece of art to hold, and they couldn't believe it. They were so strong because of the vibrational frequencies that are infused in it. And I do believe it actually changes your body. It actually changes your DNA. It changes your frequency to be in that presence, as if you're in the presence of an avatar or a guru or a divine being. It gives you that energetics. So yeah, I'm so jazzed about the art because I think it's the most exciting thing I've ever done.
Isn't that fun? And being an artist, right? Having painted, like actually painted all these things, and the way that it's so beautiful, you connect, you channel, you create. And then this being a whole nother level of that. That's part of this, do something different, right? We have Pluto just standing on our north node. We have Pluto saying you can't keep doing your soul path the way you have been. You got to go a new direction. You got to find something new. And that's a great example of it. It isn't like stop being an artist, but what's a new way of doing it, a new way of offering it, a new way of serving with it, letting it be of service, because it's a healing tool.
It's a powerful energy healing tool. And the crazy part of it is, I have no home right now. Sometimes that bothers me and sometimes it doesn't. I'm like looking at, oh, do I go back to the States? What am I going to do? Or heck, Neil was saying you can stay at my parents' new apartment that will be built in Spain, go for 3 months to Spain. It's like
That sounds
all
good.
these opportunities did not happen until I said yes to this
Yeah,
movement.
exactly.
And I have experienced an energetic upgrade. I feel like I've stepped into my, what we call my 33rd aspect, and into my wholeness as a complete walk-in self. And I'm very proud of it. I just feel like, oh my God, I said yes, and look what happens. And so
Yes.
my art is designed to have you say yes, guys. Yes to your destiny. Yes to the power within you. Yes to the potential that you have, that you came in here with. That honestly, if you don't do it now, when will you do it?
Yeah.
Because we're in that time of reckoning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It is. It's like oh, coming out of the darkness, right? All this almost 4 decades that have been, walking through trying to figure out who am I and what's energy and all this stuff, right? And now we're just moving so fast that it's the hanging on to who we were, doing things the same way, staying in ruts, patterns, and traditions. So what you did was perfect for you, of course. That to like, this is what we did. We put everything in. Chris was like, woke up one day after my kids had moved around like this and gone to college here and there, and then boom, ended up in the same building a mile from my parents. And all of a sudden he woke up and said, we're supposed to get rid of everything and go to Thailand. That it wasn't about Thailand. It was, we were waiting to start to travel the world, right? So it was travel the world slowly. We got rid of everything in 3 weeks, except for a little bit. And then we started to move. And it was in the movement, not that everybody has to go get rid of everything, but you, to
Right.
the degree that you have, maybe you're just called to go to Greece for a trip, maybe you're called to, do something that way. But the power in movement and travel and stepping out, like you said, stepping out before you know everything, because we can't do that anymore either, right?
Yeah. And my guides, when I started painting the art years ago, 33 angels in 30 days, and I said, well, what am I supposed to do with this? And they were really clear. You will not get any more information till you move, till you like paint, till you do it.
So you do it.
And
Yeah.
that's, it's like you have to do it, and then we'll give you more information.
I
And that's
love
the way
that.
the guides work. So you have to let go of the house, follow Neil around, work with Portal to Ascension. You'll see what unfolds. Don't worry about it. We've got you covered. You won't go homeless.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Right.
But
And
it
then when you
is
do let
scary.
people show up, it is scary, but it's only scary because of what we've been conditioned to believe, right? That we have to have XYZ to be secure, or we have to, know what's going to happen. And we're moving out of that reality anyway. Not that you can't have things,
Sure.
but the
Of
sense of
course, living
security
out of a
comes within. Yeah.
living out of a suitcase isn't all it's cracked up to be, because all the vitamins weigh more than the clothes.
That would be,
Right.
I can imagine. For me, it would be all the crystals and the statues and the other stuff I have to take. I used to climb the pyramids in Mexico here. They don't let you take a backpack in anymore. And I used to bring a big backpack, and it had at least 10 pounds of crystals in it every time I went up a pyramid.
You're a treat. You're a treat.
So, well, can you share some of your art with us? Let's get
Yeah.
some,
And
let's
I
get some
decided,
infusions.
let's get some infusions, and I'm going to do it as a slideshow to start, because iPhotos has the cutest, you'll see, very cute as a slideshow. And then I could go back to specific ones, but I thought I'll start like this to begin with. Slideshow and the music,
Wonderful. So I just want to remind everybody to receive this, right? You're receiving encoded things. What resonates with you might be coming in through different senses. I love this.
and memories of the past and of who we've been.
Let's see. Oh, so beautiful.
This one is where I've been many times.
Looks like a tholos. Mm. I love the wings on the chest, this flower girl with the thing hanging out. Totally relate to that. This one I love. You had showed me this one before.
I guess you can't see the face.
No, it kind of cuts it off a little bit. The top.
Well,
of
I'll
it.
show some of them after the little slideshow.
Ah, look at this gorgeous being with the tiny gold wings.
And that one on the left was a Glastonbury goddess.
Mm,
This is a client of mine, as was she.
That's gorgeous. Look at that. Wow. I love what you do.
The places we've been, these are the Atlantean halls.
Mm. There. Okay. I think we saw these ones again.
I think we saw that.
Yeah.
So these are me. So remember I said I do soul essence portraits.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I'm going to start with myself. And when I saw this and I saw this complete alignment, the light coming through her from the crown here, it was like totally me. And so when I say it has a resonance, it doesn't look exactly, but this was
No,
me.
but your soul doesn't look like your body. I mean,
Right.
it may be similar. And plus, you said something about your other lives. What I'm seeing is that we're here to evolve all of the lives in our soul, to free them so that we can share our power, wisdom, and expertise. So this is definitely.
This one I just love. I feel so divine.
It's very
and devoted.
angelic.
Right? Yeah, all the angelic frequencies. And this one, believe it or not, this rotunda over there, I have had so many past life visions in that rotunda, of meeting with the gods and being an oracle. I'm sure we're going to see something similar to this when we're in Greece, because
they have several. Here. Yeah, they called Tholos, and they have them in Delphi. They only have restored 3 or 4 pillars. There's no top, but it is that circular building. And it's below the Temple of Apollo where the oracle stood, but they've had many different places. There's also Tholos and several other sites too, but I resonate with it the most. In fact, my memories of Greece were that was where the oracle was, because it was closer to the spring where the oracle would go to purify. And more typically in the more famous oracle ages was up the hill a little bit, but yeah, it's so beautiful.
And even there's a little, cellar or cave underneath there. These are other soul essence portraits that I have done of different people. This one came through when I was working with a client. Look how powerful that is. And he really became like the avenging angel. And really working intensely with Archangel Michael, and we captured that. These are some other angelic beings. This one also, I was creating a series of Glastonbury angels, and they came through in this way. This one hasn't quite told me. She feels like who does she feel like to you?
Well, she seems like a cross between Atlantean and Celtic to me.
Yeah, I love her headgear.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I was a fashion designer to create headgear like this and new clothing. And this one is such a genteel energetics. So
pure. That one is, can you go back to her?
Yeah.
A minute? I don't know who she said to you, but she is kind of an Aphrodite Athena blend. Right? The soft beauty, love, grace, yet with wisdom.
Yes, and very much regal, very much a high energetic being. I think she's a cross between a queen and a high priestess. And these are her sisters. This is more like the goddess Athena.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, exactly.
And this one is a Celtic being, a Celtic goddess. She came through right when I was in Glastonbury, actually. She came.
You know what I thought of immediately was elves. Was the
Yeah.
we're doing an intuition class. We're talking to elves and fairies and elementals and stuff right now. However, it also felt very Pan.
Yes, very Pan-like,
Very,
but this is also very
nature.
elfin. Now, I
Yeah.
have seen an elfin in my front yard years ago, and another Celtic goddess here.
Nice.
Let's pass. Oh yeah, no, this is a series too that I just really love, the kind of the fluidity, the clothing,
Yeah. Wow.
the
look at
energy that
that.
comes through her. Oh, and here's my
Mhm.
friend again. This was the ultimate painting, I think, that we chose.
Oh, the same as the other ones you were showing us there.
Yeah, but here's the funny part. When I sent him this painting, I'm going to show it again. When I sent him this painting, I did an activation. So all the paintings, you get an activation after. And I had him put the painting on a shelf, and he sat in a chair underneath it. And that sword that you see there came right down to the top, the bottom of the painting, but it was right on top of his head, basically. And there was an alignment of light there that was very powerful, extremely potent. Maybe it was this sword. It was one of the swords, came right through, but it was aligned with his body, and it was very empowered. This one also is one of my favorites.
I love this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's some of the art, man.
Oh,
I
it's so
could go on and on and
gorgeous.
show you everything.
I know, right? So one thing we didn't have on your slide was your website, or where do people find you?
Oh, yes. Where you can find me, guys, is joanofangels.com. Everything is Joan of Angels. Joan of Angels on my Telegram, Joan of Angels on Instagram, Joan of Angels on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel that I'm going to post this on to later, but everything is Joan of Angels. Since I took the name Joan of Angels, well, I was given it, but then I accepted it. It took me 7 years to fully embody what it means to be Joan of Angels. It's not a name, it's a state of being, and it's a consciousness that comes through me. So that beautiful video that I sent you when I'm on stage, in fact, if we had it, we could play it. But that beautiful energy, it's not me. It is this being that comes through me. She's a Joan of Archangel, angel of light. She's also what I call the BAA now. She's a badass angel. When I've learned the art of discernment and I set boundaries, she's become a badass angel and learning how to do that. But this energy, and when I was a chiropractor, the same thing would happen, Nan. I would meditate before I started working on patients, and I would invoke the highest God of energy healing around. I had a guy that worked with me, and that whole day that I could see many, many, many patients, and I was in a flow. And this energy, this healing would come through me. And then the end of the day, he left. I went home. But it wasn't Joan, Dr. Joan. It really was a higher being that came through me to do that work. And that's what happens through the art, is a high, or even when I present it, when I'm on stage.
Yeah.
Exactly. So visit me at joanofangels.com, and the website's in a little renovation, but I have a beautiful little ebook for you to get, and then I'll start communicating with all of you, tell you what I'm up to. You'll know next time I go on tour with Nan, and most of all, you'll see on the front page how you can look through all my art. It'll take you to the Etsy page, and also to look at the soul portraits. It's a little button that you can click more to learn more. And if it resonates with you, reach out, because it will rock your soul. It'll change your life in a very deep, profound way, because you will never forget who you are.
Yeah. So if they want a soul portrait or work with you in some way, they just reach out to you through your website.
Yeah, there's a place where you can click to book an appointment. You can even book an appointment to start the soul essence portraits. In fair disclosure, they take anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks, or plus or minus, depending on where you and I are. Like, as I said, not everyone's ready.
Yeah.
If you're not ready, that's okay. We work till you are ready. So, because you want the highest essence of you to come through.
Yeah.
And sometimes, sometimes it's not as easy. It's different. It's just how it works through with the soul essence and the session that comes through. And when we get a lot of clarity, then through your reading, the art comes through.
Yeah, and so what it is, it's so fun because it's like speaking to your soul. It's like having a communication with your soul, maybe in a way that you don't receive, because everyone receives differently, right? And can see things and receive things that you currently can't. Somebody asks, so hi everybody. So we got a lot of chats going on. Lucille, Stacy said that she loves living out of the heart space and would love to go be in the experience of freedom and expansion to just go wherever the wind blows. So, it is one of those things where it's a catch-22. It's so amazing what you're getting to do. But of course, that it's a phase, right? It's a journey that you're going through doing all of this. And then it's opening doors and shifting you, preparing you for what's going to open up next. Stacy says, amazing art. Are they in an oracle deck?
These images are not in an oracle deck, but they probably will be. I think more when I settle down. We don't know when that's going to be, because suddenly, I'm thinking Spain, and now I'm thinking, who knows, but when I settle down, it'll come through. So yes, there is an oracle deck that will happen, guys, for sure, with this art.
Yeah, hi Genevieve. So yes, she said that when we were looking at that one, she got Atlantean and Greek goddess too, like those kind of energies there. So, well, I do have, I can see if I put the video onto my computer, I can see if I can share it. Would you like me to do that?
Oh, I'd love to. Yes, I would love to see it on the big screen.
Okay, let me see. How do I do
Yeah,
this?
she's looking for a clip from a presentation I did live last weekend on Saturday, less than a week ago.
Okay, here, where is it? There it is. Okay. And now I have to share my screen. So bear with the tech here. Yeah, okay,
Doing great,
good. Right here. Now I am going to unplug my headset so you can hear it. It's not very loud anyway, so if you can't hear it, we'll
Turn
send
your
it to
sound
you.
up, guys.
Yeah, turn your sound up. Okay, so share, you can probably see that now. Bigger. Ah, there it is. It's just slow.
Come on, baby.
Is this it? That's not it.
Yeah, it looks like me.
Really? I'm seeing a jungle. Okay.
No, that's me. I recognize it. And it says MP4 on it.
Oh yeah, no, I know this is the one, but it's not what opened up.
Oh.
For some reason my computer is very slow. I'm clicking on it. It's
well, I just downloaded it from the website, from WhatsApp again. It's possible I have it.
Okay, see, I got this, which looks like my jungle here. I can't.
Wow. Just so you know, all we see is your download folder.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing all these other things.
We're seeing your download folder.
You want to share your screen and see if you can hear it?
Well, before I share my screen, let me see if I actually have it.
Okay.
In here.
And then can you do a little soul activation or something juicy for us?
Oh yeah, I'd love to do a little activation for everyone.
Or channeling or whatever
for myself too.
Yeah, and the fun thing being that we are really in the new moon energy, right? And What I love about
Oh,
so much
yeah,
of this
yeah.
is coming back into the presence with our sacred feminine. And we've got the new moon and black moon Lilith and all of these really great energies.
We do, we do, we do. Okay, so I am looking for it in the WhatsApp chat. Here it is as a paintbrush for the divine. Oh, okay, well, it's downloading. We're playing.
You got to
Huh,
share your screen. I
oh, it's
know.
spinning.
Yeah,
It
there's
is,
something maybe about the video. Like I have a video on my screen that won't go away. It's something.
okay, I think that we're not going to play it now, but we can definitely channel the energy.
Yeah.
So, guys, what I'd like you to do is breathe with me. So just take a deep breath in and let it all out. And then again, take a deep breath in and let it all out. And I want you to send your crown, your antenna all the way up to the heavens and feel it kind of click into the heavens as you bring down celestial energy around each and every one of you. This is the time for each and every one of us, each and every one of you to remain protected within the divine, to understand that that which can raise your vibratory frequency, whether it be meditating in the morning or running on the beach or sinking and swimming in the ocean, that which brings you joy, that which raises your light frequency is what we encourage you to do most now. There's a darkness that has spread across the planet, and it is up to each and every one of you to hold your light, hold your frequency, do what it takes to stay and remain in your center, to remain in that state of discernment so that you are able to see what is truth and what is false, what is real and what is not real. These are the times for which you have been called, my friends. These are the times of which you are being asked to really remember who you are, to be firm, to be strong, to understand that you have gifts and superpowers far beyond your human self, and that rather than descend or surround yourself in fear or negativity, especially as the world may shift even greater into realms we haven't even experienced here before, understand that you are being protected by your loved ones, by your guides, and by the angels, and that it is known what you came here to do. It is known that you have the power to transcend these limitations, that you have the gifts and the skills and the abilities to resonate from a higher plane, to be a maker of miracles, to be one who carries the light and dispels the darkness. Should you just stand in remembering of who you are, you would know that you came here to be a bearer of light in a dark world. And that is of utmost importance during these times. So know that as it may look as if darkness has descended upon the planet, there is a clearing, and that clearing begins with you. It begins with your ability to manifest who you are, to claim it, to become a radiant tower of light, a tower of magnificent light that activates other towers of light, creating a grid of light across and around the planet. This grid of light will trickle down and raise frequencies of those on planet Earth who are still in fear, who are still in a darkness. And so each of you who are listening to this today, know that you are being activated for your higher purpose, to walk in truth, to walk as a radiant being of light, to spread that light, to raise the vibratory frequency so high that the dark portals are closed. And then all that remains is light, that's stepping into that world of which we all seek. And so it is. And so we claim it now.
Yes, please. Oh, yummy. Thank you. I love saying or feeling during things like this is like, oh, I love this. Thank you for this. More of this, please. Oh, I love this. Thank you for this. More of this, please. Which
It
is
is
perfect.
so important, Nan, so important that people actually reclaim their memories. Another reason why Greece, because so many of you listening to this were in Egypt and Greece and Atlantis with us.
Mhm,
Probably Nan and I were teaching at that time with you. But
mhm.
it's important because every light worker is being called into service now. It's not the time to sit on the sidelines and say, well, let them go do it. It is all of us together to give each other the courage, and also to remember it's like we're holding hands in a giant circle around the planet. And as we do that, we become courageous. We all become a Joan of Arc in a sense. We become that courageous light that is so needed right now during these times. Everywhere I go here in London, I have unique conversations with my Uber drivers, okay? Every one of those Uber drivers is awake in a way you wouldn't even know, that they've begun to question the things that were done to them. They've begun to question the control and wondering, how do I maneuver in this crazy world we now find ourselves in, where right is left and left is up and there's no direction. It's like our sense of who we are is being wiped out. And so the more you remember and the more you can access your past lives, your future lives, this higher dimension, the easier it will be for you to stand up and be that leader you came here to be. And
Yeah,
so those are our
absolutely.
messages. And that's what the art carries, those messages of soul freedom.
Yeah. So beautiful. And in whatever way you feel called to that, but I can tell you that I've been working with people with past lives. I didn't believe they were real back in my first awakening, but over a period of time. And then when I became a master level hypnotherapist, people were going to past lives. I didn't have to go, we're going to a past life. And they were doing it. And then they were looking at me like, I don't believe in them, but it was so vivid and it was so real. And yes, we can find wounds and fears that hold us back for sure, but they also have wisdom and power, and they've been to mystery schools, and they were kings or queens that knew how to hold money and power and be benevolent, and we have all of this in our soul. And what's happening now is that over the last several years, the session would we go to a past life, maybe walk around with it, but we actually strategize with it. Okay, you're about to die and you're about to think this, and it's kind of where you're stuck in a loop, right? And this is part of my soul, so you're sucking up a lot of power here, right? So let's strategize. What could you do differently? How could you shift it? How could you release it? And it's literally like evolving every one of these lives. And then we have that connection, like you said, where the wisdom of a particular school or a particular
Right.
ability or affinity can start to manifest in your life.
Yeah, and it's important now. It's so important now because we're trapped in a cycle that's been on the planet before. Many, the cycle of a disease harming many people. It's played out over and over and over again in history. And it's like that movie Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
And we have an opportunity. That's what the ascension process is about. We have an opportunity to break free and truly ascend. And it's miraculous. And it works better if we're all doing it together. It's more powerful. It's more uplifting, and it's more likely to happen because the stars are aligned.
Well, and it's happening in a way where if you go through something and half of you is positive, but half of you is feeling full of guilt and shame and anger or whatever, then your power towards what you're creating is full of both of those energies, right? So part of them's lifting you up, like Hawaii, right? Like if you have sadness and you have pity, and this is what we were taught. Oh no, this is terrible. Oh no, this is a tragedy. Oh, I have to feel pity. I have to see people as victims. This is not good energy. You're not healing them, helping them, lifting them up that way. When we go deeper and we can trust that the frequency what's happening is what's ever optimal right now, something had to burn away, some old energy had to go, and now something new can be birthed. So what you can see is the potential. And that's the beauty of like you doing someone's soul portrait and them seeing this aspect and feeling this aspect of themselves and starting to embody it. It can affect the way they are with their family or in business or how they treat their body. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love
We
it.
all, and we need this. There's so much happening. We need this. You know, I think we're almost in a war for humanity and for ourselves, and we need everything around us that can raise our spirits and our confidence in knowing we too can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's something else, I don't know what you said, but it triggered it for me. And I think it's really vital because it's not typically the mindset that most of us were raised with, which is do it now. You know, do it now. This is not, this isn't like, oh, you're going to get old and sick. Yeah, you are. I have people in my life, my parents, my dad's going to turn 90 and they're very healthy. However, he's losing his memory. My mom broke her leg and therefore she can't walk without a cane. And she used to walk 4 miles in the woods and she's sitting in her cabin, her happy place, and she's bored and she's unhappy because all she sees is the limitation that she has, right? So things change. You know, there's pyramids we can't go to anymore here. So thank goodness we did before. And if your soul's calling you to something like a soul portrait with Joan or a healing or a trip or whatever, you know, just if you listen and you do now, it's going to support you for what comes tomorrow and what comes next year in a dragon year. Wow.
Right. And this is the year of authenticity and really being authentic and true to yourself. I didn't expect this, Nan. I just left and I had no idea that a year later that I could say I've truly grown, I've truly transformed, I'm doing work that transforms people. I feel, and it happened because I cut the cord. I was clinging on, like I had visions and I did these journeys, plant medicine journeys. I'd see myself clinging to a rock, afraid to let go, and letting go was the best thing I did. Now, I have no idea when I'm going to land, but I'm sure it's going to happen at the right time and place. And the journey, you know, and it's never the goal. It's never about achieving the goal. It's about the journey along the way. You know, we're all going to leave the bodies. And I guess it's all about the journey we have until we leave our body.
Yeah, or leave your body or evolve your body or whatever your body can do right now. But I'm so in love with my body after all these years. And when I was younger, I was an athlete and then I got fat. So I didn't love my body. And I was, you know, I used it for all kinds of form of suppression of my power, my energy, my, you know, you're too much and you're too bright and, you know, all these things that we hear. Now I'm in the space of, you know, it doesn't matter to me what anybody else sees. Right? I'm not in any shape. I don't even notice, like, what do you see? Do you see my wrinkles or whatever? Right? It's like, oh my God, I am so happy I'm in this body and that I can touch Chris and that I can see the sunset and that I can go in the ocean and I can go back to Greece where I was when I was a little kid and in another life. And those things, regardless, those are the things that are going to shift my life, my soul path, that are going to awaken the triggers and the powers, not paying the bills and waiting for the credit card to be clear before whatever, or, you know, whatever the conversation is that says, no, you can't now in whatever you're doing. So, ooh, I'm so happy. Wonderful.
This is great.
So we're
So
going
great
to
to
have
see you.
yes, and we're going to have Joan's website here on the YouTube channel. It'll be below. And of course, we're going to send it out with the replay if you want to be on the list at nanakasha.com. And if you want to come play with Joan in the oracles, it's going to be so fun because, you know, when you said something about the oracles are coming back or something, I was like, oh my God, because I didn't know my family didn't know what a past life was. You know, when I'm 3 and I'm spouting out Greek gods and shit, nobody knew to tell me, like, I think you have a connection. You know, the first time I went to Greece, I was like, I knew everything. The guy was like, this is the temple of what? And I'd be like, oh, Apollo or whatever. And the most vivid memory was at Delphi. As soon as I saw that, I was like, home, home, home. And I knew that that's where I sat. What I liked about it at the time as a kid was you were left alone, right? The oracle was like, revered, and left alone, and you could just do your spiritual stuff. You didn't have to be involved in life drama. And you were like
Right.
purifying in the spring, and then, channeling messages, and then being, like, she needs her time alone. That was part of what,
That's our ideal life.
I just want to be with the fairies and talk to, purify and be in that space.
Talk
So,
to God. Let's just take away those humans. I'll just transmit that information. Yeah.
yeah,
I've had the same. I've had many visions of being at Delphi.
yeah.
So we're gonna have a great time, Nan. And if you don't come, Nan, I'm sure Nan and I are gonna do some videos about it and some
Yeah.
YouTube stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
How can
always
we
like
not?
to share with people,
Right?
along the way, and the magic and the journeys. And then at the very least, when I come back, I like to share what I did this last time was put the videos, the smaller clips together, like of one particular trip to Delphi or something that day. And then I can put them together, and then I share them here. What's kind of fun is that they can see them without me talking, but then we share it here. And I kind of say, oh, when we were here, we got this oracle message that, and Athena says, you're wise, and, whatever, like, so yeah, it'll be fun. Oh, well,
That's what
good.
I'm gonna do with all those videos. So good reminder, Nan.
Yeah, you can put them together. And I know, well, I think you've learned how to do reels, and so has Chris. I haven't done that either, but there's a lot of fun and some good tools for all this stuff we get to share now, isn't it? Good. Let me check real quick, see if anybody else has anything to say. Lucille said, so amazing. And beautiful goddesses, thank you for this beautiful offering, says Be Lighter from Genevieve. And Stacy says, isn't life amazing when we know how expansive our souls are, and knowing we have in there love that we now know within, that there is no separation, and have this unity and connection. Yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun that we're at the wave of consciousness of unity, and we're coming back. I am the light. It's so easy to slip into past lives in your courses, Nan. Yeah, Stacy, it's true. I don't, I wouldn't call it a time traveler, right? But when you do this work, and I've been to so many mystery schools and different things, and traveled through so many different dimensions, that it's just normal to me to be like, oh, we're seeing this, we're seeing that. So we'll put it in my manifesting box. Greece would be a dream come true. Cool. Well, contact me. Let me know if you have any questions, because when it comes to a trip like this, it's best to talk, but your goal is to get to Athens. And at that point, we will take care of you. So everything will be fine. And all right, Joan, so what would you like to share as we close? What's coming up?
Well, what's coming up is that you are a radiant beauty. And that as I watch you, I feel so honored to be in your presence. You have such radiance. And I feel like this whenever I see you. But, now we're back online, and I feel how powerful you manifest, and what a great space you create. And how, I can just feel the love you have. And that really touches me and touches everyone. So that is what's coming up for me now, that I can't wait to be in your physical presence and to share all this wisdom, not just with each other, but, the whole point is to bring it out to our people. So guys, I'm so honored that Nan brought me on. And yes, visit me at joanofangels.com so I can love on you too. And even if you don't need the soul, I have wonderful art. All these beings that you saw, a lot of them are on my Etsy page. And it makes me very happy to send my art around the world.
Yeah. Talk about a light grid, right? And you have is there a free goodie there on your website?
Yes, there is a free book that's a 5-minute guide to beginning the process of finding your soul purpose. 5 minutes.
I
In
love
5
it.
minutes, because all you have to do is turn on the light and remember that you came here to remember. All right. Really. In truth, we came here to remember on a planet that wants you to forget.
Yeah, that's coming from that darkness, but there's no way to hold back the light. So don't get absorbed with any of the drama going on. Just watch it.
All right.
And
Just
stay
stay
polite.
strong. Go to the Oracle of Delphi, just get in your little temple and talk to God. Talk to the gods.
You know what I loved about the Oracle, it's the most famous psychic in the universe, right? And in our history, and even people, rulers from other countries would travel there to ask. But it was also ordinary people. They could all come. They could all bring their offering. They all came and did their purification. They all lined up. They all got to ask their question. And I think that's amazing. I love that. I love that. So we all get to, and now we get to be our own oracle, right? That's what
Right.
this is
And we
really
get to
doing.
go back there. We actually get to go back there. It's where the past and the present all come together.
And all of us, all of the different us. Have you ever seen the movie, What the Bleep Do You Know? Do we know?
Oh yeah. In fact, I met the woman who did that movie.
Oh, wow. Very
The
nice.
filmmaker of that movie. Mhm.
Well, I love it. I like the long version, the down the rabbit hole version. But you know how like they show her, she's going through this crisis, like who am I? What's the point? Right? And transformation, metamorphosis. And she goes through all the different states, and then she starts seeing herself. And at the end, she's standing in the movie theater as who she is now. And she sees herself walk up the stairs with her ex-husband. And she sees herself, in all these other timelines because she's standing in that spot, the same spot. And this is what's a lot of fun when you travel, especially places with, even if you haven't been there in this life, you stand there and tune into the other parts of you that are walking around in that physical space, because there's no difference. All right. Well, I like to play with you. I'd love to stay and stay and stay, but
I don't want to say goodbye, but I know I can say see you soon.
Yes. See you soon. I love you so much, sweetie. Thank you. Thank you for bringing your beauty and your sparkle and all of this. And make sure you reach out to Joan, even if you just send her, a message. I'm sure she would love it. Thank you for the art, and, something you shared really helped me. And check into, is your soul asking for you to see yourself in a new way and to have that present with you. It's almost like putting something on, that's really you, wearing it around wherever you go. So
that is so well said. Absolutely. Very well said, man.
That's what it looks like energetically. So, okay, sweetie. Well, thank you.
All right.
Did you do the art
Ciao for
behind
now.
you?
Yeah. Do you like that?
Yeah, I know. I love it. Did you do it? I forgot when we were looking at which
I
background.
didn't. I don't show anyone else's art because I have thousands of digital pieces on my
Yeah.
I have thousands.
Yeah.
I'm never at a loss for creating PowerPoints or backgrounds.
Yeah, truly built for Oracle. Well, I looked at your chart the other day, and your life path is in the house of communication. Yes. So that's where your learning is inside of that house of communication, that your soul path is, that's not the only thing, but that's part of it. So it makes a lot of sense to be an oracle and a channel and bringing in the art and everything.
A dancer, a writer, a speaker, a lover, a human, an angel, all things.
Wonderful. And we're going to get to dance. I know I keep seeing us dancing somewhere. I don't know if it's in front of the ocean or at a temple or maybe near the cave or somewhere, see where. But when I went to Egypt the first time, there was a lady who was a dancer, and she came with all of these, scarves. And when we were at different places after we were done with our activation, she would do a dance to thank the goddess, to thank the land. And the one I remember the most was we got to Philae, the temple of Isis in the river, and we went out before dawn through the mist on these boats, and then the temple appeared, and we had it all to ourselves, and we did our activation. And then she started to do a dance as the sun was coming up, and like honoring Isis. And I just was like one of those experiences, right, of seeing this movement and embodying the energies, and it's such a beautiful co-creative way. So
you are inspiring me, because we're going to be on a cruise on the Nile I guess I'll have 8 nights on this cruise, and I just decided I'm going to get up at dawn and dance as I watch.
Cruising the Nile is so nice because it's just like this. There's no way.
I'm living a dream.
You are living a dream. I know.
All right. I love you
I,
very much,
I love
Jan.
you, sweetie. Thank you so much. joanofangels.com. And we're going to go ahead and thank everyone for being here. We thank the angels. We thank all of the light and all of the energies that have come here in this sacred space today. We thank you for the soul medicine that we've received and all of the beauty and whatever has been triggered for our highest good from this beautiful art, from these gifts through Joan, from Joan's embodiment. Accept and give great thanks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll just release this and ask the circle be open yet unbroken. That we remain a clear connection to all this beautiful healing energy that Joan has brought to us today in whatever way is optimal. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And Stacy's thinking a power portrait of my goddess self would be the cherry on top, right? I feel that goddess power in you both. Oh, thank you, Stacy. So honored to share this experience with you. Yay. Well, you better come to Greece then. Don't put it in a box. Go buy a ticket or talk to me. You're so welcome, Lucille. Okay, bye, my loves.
See you, everyone. All right.
So we're still live. We're not, but I have to let it go for a minute because it's behind, you know.
Got it. Okay, well, I'm gonna go.
Okay.
And
Thanks,
it was
honey.
a great show. It's like my bedtime.